All right, so this is going to be a fun one. It's currently Sunday. The Pocket Yacht dock hop is over, and I am in the marina and not on the way home because well, let's take a look. So, on the way to Maryland for this event, had a spontaneous destruction of random parts. Now, when I say that, that means that really bad things happened. Basically, the transfer case was unhappy and decided to destroy itself and implode. It's kind of interesting because years ago, kind of the same noise happened where it was just like a big chunk, and as it was rotating, as we were moving, it was like dunk, 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 dunk. We had Mercedes look at it. They said they didn't see anything. They did the green Loctite mod, and nothing else happened. And years later now, we're at 40,000 very, very hard miles. Riptide, if you're not familiar, is the 2019 4x4 Sprinter that I ordered brand new a long time ago, and has been through, I don't know, 4 or 5 different iterations, and used and abused. So on the way up here, it did bad things in traffic. And made a whole lot of noise, was able to get it to stop for about a mile, then had some gear whine, and it just completely destroyed itself and just sounded absolutely horrible. Luckily, Max remembered that there is a thing called dyno mode. If you're not familiar with it, it allows you to lock it to rear-wheel drive only, so that you can go on a dyno or do very specific testing. So did that, locked the transfer case out basically completely and didn't do anything with it, and drove the rest of the 100 and so miles here. And I don't really want to drive another 13 hours with no cruise control, to be super frank. So Tim at Adrenaline, the amazing person that he is, sent out a transfer case, and we have got to swap it out. It won't be here until tomorrow, and I have got to get back to Florida and back to work. So we are now going to, in the parking lot of Pocket Yacht Service Center, sorry Tony, remove the transfer case from our van and reinstall the new one. So gonna hang out and we're gonna do some stuff and things. So yeah, let's do it. All right, let's do this. I also had to buy a few tools, some inverted Torx sockets and Torx bits, because I don't have any here. And I wasn't really planning on needing it. All right. So we gotta pull a solenoid. That should be like a 10 or a 12 maybe. Yeah, there we go. First, you gotta pull a solenoid. That's a E10. Actually, I'm gonna leave the solenoid in there because I think it's gonna leak if I take that out. So let's take the drive shaft bolts off. Drive shaft bolts are an E14. Well, that's off. So now we're gonna do the front drive shaft, which is gonna be a Torx, I believe a T50, 30 something. Front drive shaft is a T50. Let's just, yep. Big shout out to the crappy decking that was on the boat that we swapped out for inhabit mats for keeping me comfortable. under the van. Really wish I had my impact. Watch, with my luck, I'll break a freaking Torx bit. I'm also kind of excited. We have the transmission cooler and engine oil cooler on the way from Adrenaline Vans. Keep them transmission temps down. If you don't know, we tow all the time. And I mean, this thing's on 35s. It's got an Invictus suspension with opti rates and airbags in the back and big brakes, the Curry rear axle. It's tuned, it's got a bigger turbo. Like, I mean, we are absolute worst case scenario for all of these Mercedes parts. And honestly, this is the only failure I've ever had of a drivetrain component. I think we're at 40,000 miles. And it is just balls to the walls every time I drive this thing, for better or worse. And it does pretty good. So I'll take it. It's my own fault. Did I mention impact driver or an electric ratchet would be really awesome right now? But at least it's not unbearably freaking hot. So that's cool. It's actually kind of nice out. I had to wear pants today. What kind of BS is that? Jeez. I think it was in there good. At least you know Mercedes put Loctite on there. I'm not, but they did. So Max told me this is gonna be pretty easy. I've never replaced one of these. Max, for those that you don't know, Max is our shop manager.
Hey, I'm Max, the shop manager. Let's get back to Grant, almost dropping some stuff on his face.
If you come to the shop for work, he's probably the one that checked you in. But he's done a couple of these, and he said it's not too bad. So I'm just going into this, honestly, with blind faith and a positive attitude, and I'm probably gonna hate myself, but you know, that's life. So whenever you ask the question, hey, if I do 35s and tune my van and all this, does it affect my warranty? Yes, it affects your warranty. It significantly affects your warranty. So be okay with that. Because if I took this to Mercedes and I was like, hey, my transfer case broke in traffic, they're gonna look at my van and be like, nah, we're not gonna cover that. Because technically I'm still under the drivetrain warranty. But I know that my van is already flagged in the Mercedes system for being on 35s. And you know, that's life. I'm sure this is not the approved. Oh, that sounds fantastic. Sure, this is not the approved removal method for Mercedes. All right, so now we got to get all of these upper bolts out, which these are the ones I'm actually concerned about. All the perimeter bolts, I feel like I'm not going to be able to get a socket on, and I'm not. Oh, what am I going to do? Yeah, there's nothing that I can do about this. Oh man. So they're T40s, but I need a stubby T40. So kind of at a stopping point until tomorrow. So I'm kind of at a stopping point until tomorrow where hopefully one of the guys at the shop has a stubby T40. All right, so we're done for now, just because there's nothing else I can do, because the next thing requires T40s, and I don't have a short T40. So the move here, I think, is either like one of those L ones. It wouldn't be a big deal if I was back at the shop because I have a really, really short T40. That would work perfectly fine, but I don't have that here. So, yeah, we'll check back in tomorrow. All right, so we figured out a fix. So the issue that I was having is that if you look, there we go. All right, so right here, these bolts, there's not a whole lot of space there. So what I've done is I forgot that I carry this gear wrench guy with the apex bits. It's this right here, this kit, which has proven to be absolutely amazing. It's got a whole bunch of different things, but anyways, I'm able to get in here. None of these are super torqued, so removed each of these from the transfer case. I left one in over here and one in over there. Really, I'm just waiting on a jack. So solve that problem now. Just tomorrow morning we'll get a jack. We'll put a jack under the transfer case right here, and then finish taking stuff apart. It's got a whole lot of play in it and a little noisy and nasty. So yeah, super fun. All right, so day 2. Well, really it's like day 5, but of the transfer case fun. Recap, last night got all of the transmission transfer case mount bolts out. It's resting on the mount. Got the rear drive shaft, front drive shaft disconnected. Got all but 2 of the transfer case mount bolts out. I just turned the van on so I could disengage the dyno mode, and that is now going to make it so that it's not locked, just in case there's something in there keeping me from pulling it off or something. I don't know how the transfer case works internally. So that's all back to normal. And now, so the next step is we've got a jack down here, block of wood. We're gonna support the transmission so we can get weight off of the mount on the back, pull the mount off. I'm gonna drop the drive shaft carrier bearing so that I can get out of the way to be able to pull the transfer case back. And then really we're just gonna muscle it down and hope for the best. So got some sippy sip cup, and yeah, let's do it. Oh, that's good.
It's like a reward.
This is miserable. Don't enjoy this. Oh, we're pretty maxed out on this, bud. So let's go get a spacer block. Might be a little excessive, but you know, that's how it be sometimes. Man, I was really hoping I wouldn't have to take this bracket out. You
want a more comfortable mat?
I'm sorry, what?
You want a more comfortable mat?
What do you mean? Like deck
It's like a
deck stuff isn't like super comfortable?
Oh.
I mean, yeah, I could probably use more. Look, man, I just make do with what I got. Always. There we go. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Transfer case. Just gotta drop the carrier bearing and should be good. Oh no. Ugh. Perfect. All right, so the only possible thing that could really suck is if the fuel tank's too close.
Fuel tank's too close.
I don't know. That's the only thing that could possibly suck here. I didn't think about that until now, but all right, so all the bolts are out. So this thing should. Oops.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
All right, I got it off. That's cool. All right, good news. It's here. New one's right there. Just got here. Let's put it in. And with that, it's in, done, good, ops checked, good to go. Now we're gonna load the boat up and go home. Bye. All right, so we're here with Christopher in the transfer case. And we are going to disassemble this and see what it looks like. So let's do it. All right, so we gotta drain it first. Any idea what size that is? Probably like a 17 is my guess. Yeet. Definitely some metal. Lots of chunks. That's cool. It's a little crunchy. All right. Yeah, same.
I thought that there would be a lot more pieces.
Yeah, so
Not as bad.
I don't know what broke yet. It doesn't look as bad as we thought it would, but the sounds were absolutely horrendous, as you heard in the beginning of the video.
This gear has a lot of problems, and then
This gear?
This gear has problems, and then the one behind.
Yeah, that's what I think
down
is.
there
That's what I think
problems.
is. There were definitely some good shavings on it, but I can't figure out how to get it apart.
They make.
Make a bearing puller for that.
No, they make a tool.
Cause I can't get the output shaft
Yeah,
off.
you like slide the whole thing out.
Yeah, but I can't get the flange off the output shaft to let it do that. I mean, it's definitely coming off, so I'll just keep hammering
Yeah,
it.
I think you need to hammer. Is it right this way?
I think the issue is getting bound up. It's not going to go that way because this guy here. So I think we need to put something in here to keep it from pushing back. That's definitely doing it.
Wow, look at all that green Loctite on there.
Yeah, that's what they did 2 years ago when we had the noise.
Really?
Yep. So what failed? That's the question.
So I think the failure is probably
In the
here.
pawls, there.
Probably in the pawls, because if you see,
And that's what it sounded like a transmission.
because like
that
the only
fucking-
thing I can see is like, you know, we have a couple of broken teeth right there,
Yep.
and I bet this got stuck in a way
Where it didn't want to
where
actuate.
it didn't want to like actuate, it wouldn't engage, and this was just spinning in here.
Yeah, that's literally what it sounded like.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's got some heat marks on here as well.
All right, so all these, you see the heat right here. So right there, there's a whole bunch of heat. You see, it's really, really dark, and all the teeth are really, really sharp there.
Shoot up.
And where's that broken tooth at? Oh, yeah, there it is. Found it.
Yeah.
All
So
right,
this is
and-
designed. You have an actuator on the back side of the transfer case, which turns this guy, which moves this thing to engage four-wheel drive, and it's the broken off tooth there, right there.
So you got a broken tooth right there.
Yeah. So this goes in here, actuates it, and it got jammed up and it started spinning, and there's just enough of a gap where it made it through and basically chewed up a bunch of these teeth, broke off that tooth, and another little broken tooth. And
So just kind of bad luck.
Yeah.
Mainly, right? It's,
Yeah, I mean,
it's
these
basically
transfer
just bad
cases,
luck.
It's, yeah. I've seen them last, 200,000 miles, and I've seen some fail at 10,000 miles.
Yeah, and we're at 40. We're right at 40,000 miles.
Yeah.
When we tell people, when you do 35s, when you do, bigger turbos, when you do, rear ends, when you do all this stuff, like, this stuff can happen.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, when you do things like 35s and extreme significant modifications, like, you have no warranty for stuff
Correct.
like this. So
stuff like
so
this.
like when this goes bad, when this thing destroys itself, like, that's on you. Like, you're paying for that. 35s do absolutely give increased wear. Doing, larger rear axles and towing heavy things, all the things that you do with those things, not necessarily putting the parts on there, but the long-term results of those can absolutely cause Mercedes not to cover a transfer case. Our van is 100% tagged that everything drivetrain and powertrain related is not covered under warranty. I actually had somebody check, and we are tagged in the system, as I'm sure a lot of people are that have lift kits that have things. Now, that being said, if you have a striker lift and you have 35s, that doesn't mean if you blow a turbo that they're not going to cover that. Like, they're probably going to cover that. But if you blow a CV axle on the front, or you blow a transfer case, or a rear end, they're not going to cover it, because that's just part of modification. That's just part of this stuff. So definitely be aware that, like if a shop is telling you, yeah, you can do 35s, no problem, it's not going to affect your warranty, that kind of stuff, that is 100% not true. We want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. Like, it is a
super cool dealership.
yeah. Now, if you live next to Warner Vans or something that's super, friendly, then you may have a different situation, right? But the vast majority of these dealerships are not going to eat what do you think this is? Like a $7,000 transfer case?
I think they're like $5,200, and after install, you probably spend $7,000.
Yeah, they're not going to eat that because you decided to put 35s and it beat the crap out of your truck.
Yeah, and a lot of these
it's just
off-road
not a
shops
thing.
will argue that, like, oh, that's not going to cause this to fail. And to be honest, I've seen these fail on bone stock vans with stock tires that really weren't doing anything crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But also, when you add that much rotating weight and big tires, and you got a bunch of Alvan stuff on the back, and you got stuff strapped to the roof, and you're off-roading, these components are really not designed to push it that far. I mean, they built these transfer cases so you don't get stuck on the beach and you don't get stuck in the snow. Period. Like, no more than that. Like, the sand and the snow, and that is it. Anything more than that, and you're gonna really cause some problems. I mean, The US versions are tuned slightly different. Like if you have a European four-wheel drive Sprinter, you'll get a little bit more wheel spin, and therefore they break a lot more CV axles. It's super common, like the Europe Sprinters, that they'll spin a little bit more. Like these vans, if you three-wheel them, it's not really gonna spin much. Those vans, they'll spin and then they'll drop down and then break the axle, or the CV axle. It's super common.
And front diffs.
And front diffs, yeah, the front diffs fail quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, the main thing with the Sprinters, if you're taking it off road, is slow. You can't, like some of the stuff you just can't power through. That's when these things break. They don't like that high, quick torque. You got to go slow with it, unfortunately. And if you do break something like this, you know, make sure you understand how to put it in dynamic mode, so at least you can limp it somewhere and address it.
Yeah, and like I talked about in the beginning of this video that you'll see, like Max reminded me that, yeah, there is dyno mode, and that locks out the transfer case from even doing anything and makes it rear-wheel drive only. Now with that, you lose all of your safety features, so your ABS, your stability control, all that kind of jazz. You have no cruise control, but it will get you home. It got me 100 miles to my destination and whatever. Now, if I probably if I played with this a lot and you know, maybe reset, you know, pull the negative, let it power down, reset, because it was having some issues, like the four-wheel drive button was flashing really fast and it wouldn't want to actuate, and you know, maybe like did some stuff, I could probably have gotten it in, but
You're gonna pull the solenoid off of the transfer case itself, and then find something to move that, move this thing. Is the only thing, because once it's like there's hard codes in there and it's pissed off, like it's shutting down that solenoid. It's not going to do anything.
Yeah, so I mean, you're done. Like your trip is done. Luckily, thankfully, Tim at Adrenaline Vans had one, and he was able to ship it over. It wasn't hard to put back in. It was easy to take out once I realized which side of the adapter to take off. But yeah, that's literally what it sounded like.
I bet.
Yeah. That's what it sounded like, but at like a much higher RPM. So, yeah, well, I'm glad we found the root cause of the thing, but like, I mean, it's just a good PSA, you know, it's just a good PSA for everybody that, you know, the things that we do are relatively questionable to the factory parts in general. I mean, that's why, also because it's cool, that's why Agile has the Atlas transfer case, which if we break another one, we'll probably end up getting one. But, I mean, you know, at a couple grand for a transfer case and easily swap it out, a couple $100 for shipping. I mean, I can go through 4 of these before it's really worth justifying, you know, doing an Atlas. So there's a cost-benefit value there too. But yeah, so that's what happened there. And Max, thank you for saving my butt on the road and being an awesome contributor. That is a horrible noise. I will be asleep. I will be awake in my sleep for many years to come. So thanks for hanging out, guys. And yeah, hope you had fun. I didn't.